147, 154, everybody's bigger than me. I'm a small fighter.
That's why people always talk about how, Jamel is going up to 168 to fight him, but he's bigger than Canelo because, typically you probably should be fighting at 154.
In 147, I'm a small fighter.
Yeah, but even at 168 and 160 and 154, you're one of the smaller guys. So I wouldn't say that he's coming to fight the bigger guy. Mm-hmm. Jamel is the bigger guy.
Ak, as a boxing fan, would you like to see him lose 8 pounds, get to 160 to fight Terence Crawford?
To be honest with you, as a fight fan, yeah, I would like, it would be an interesting fight, but I understand his point, and all that he's accomplished. There's no reason for him have to come down for Bud, right? Like that doesn't make sense but I can see how the fight is intriguing. Or do you see anybody from 147 to 154 beating Terence Crawford?
I don't think so.
What if he were to go up to 160? We know you're not going down, but would he beat everybody at 162?
We don't know. We don't know.
But up to 154, you don't see anybody beating him?
No. He's a great fighter.
So fight him. Fight him.
He's not going down to 160.
It's completely off the table.
I can go down.
He said, I'm not going down.
I can go down.
The only way he'll fight him if Bud goes up to 168.
168, yeah.
So Canelo Alvarez came out a couple years ago stating that he's willing to fight Errol Spence at 160-pound catchweight. Check it out.
Let me ask you this too, Canelo. I spoke to Errol Spence last week and even prior, and he's serious about wanting a fight with you. And he feels Canelo versus Spence, 120,000 people in AT&T Stadium. Is that a fight that you're interested in, that you want to pursue, and do you think that can happen?
No, pues obviamente es una pelea interesante. Errol Spence es un gran peleador. Obviamente si quiere subir de peso, pues ¿por qué no? Se podría hacer esa pelea. Si se siente muy seguro de eso, pues podría pasar. Es una pelea grande.
Well, obviously it's a very interesting fight. If Errol Spence is a great fighter, and obviously if he wants to go up in weight, then that would be a big fight.
So it couldn't happen at 160. You can't. That's not a fight that you think would be big enough for you to be able to move down to 160. It would have to be at 168.
No, en peso medio todavía podemos hacerlo y claro que sí, podríamos pelear en la 160.
Middleweight, yeah, that's something that we can still do. So yes, we could go down to 160.
Now, boxing pound for pound number one, the king of the sport for the past 5 years, Terence "Bud" Crawford, he reacted to this by stating, quote, "Laugh out loud. What's y'all thoughts on Canelo saying he can make a fight with Spence at 160, but for me, he says, I can't make the weight. Wouldn't make a difference, just a thought. Laughing emoji." Now, old media are panicking trying to explain this by stating that Canelo Alvarez wasn't a full-blown 168-pounder when he made that statement. That's why he was willing to do a catchweight to fight Errol Spence at 160 leading up to the Billy Joe Saunders fight, but not Terence "Bud" Crawford today. However, ironically, Canelo Alvarez, when he made that statement, he was already on his road to his 5th fight at 168. To make matters worse, Canelo already had a fight at 175. So what the heck are they talking about? Nobody says Crawford is not a full-blown welterweight since he already had 7 fights at welterweight. Well, guess what? When Canelo Alvarez made that statement, Canelo had already fought Chavez Jr., Rocky Fielding, Caleb Smith, Avini Yildirim, and he was on his road to fighting Billy Joe Saunders, all at 168. To make matters worse, Canelo even fought at 175 against Kovalev, where he knocked him out. Therefore, despite what old media says, it's a fact Canelo Alvarez was a full-blown 168-pounder when he made that statement to fight Errol Spence at a catchweight of 160. That's a fact. That's not up for debate. However, ironically, Canelo was willing to fight Errol Spence at a catchweight of 160, but he's not willing to fight Crawford at a catchweight of 160, the man who beat Errol Spence in the most dominant fashion we had ever seen in the entire sport. Canelo is not willing to make the same sacrifice he was willing to do against Errol Spence, even for a bigger opportunity to fight boxing pound for pound number one in the biggest fight in boxing today. Canelo can actually make almost $100 million fighting Crawford. However, he's willing to do no sacrifice, even though Crawford is the one willing to move up multiple weight divisions to fight Canelo. 2 to 3, something that has never been done before. No one has ever moved up 3 divisions right away to fight. This is equivalence of Canelo Alvarez moving up all the way to heavyweight to fight Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, or Usyk. We know Canelo will never do that, but Crawford is willing to do it, which is why Crawford said at the end of his tweet, "Wouldn't make a difference." But in all reality, it's really not fair for Canelo to be willing to fight Errol Spence at 160, but not Crawford. Remember, it was Canelo who said it. Well, if you guys still want to use the excuse, this was a couple years back, well, that's fine. Let's play a clip of what Canelo Alvarez said recently. 2 months ago, Canelo came out and said, "Everybody from 147 to 154 is bigger than me." So if that's the case, why doesn't Canelo fight at 154 or 160 if that's how he feels, that Crawford is bigger than him? Check it out.
147, 154, everybody's bigger than me. I'm a small fighter.
This is what Canelo Alvarez said 2 months ago. What is y'all excuses now? It's Canelo who said it, not me. Canelo said, everyone from 147 to 154 is bigger than him. But ironically, he doesn't want to fight Crawford at 160. You can't have it both ways. Canelo can't say everyone from 147 to 154 is bigger than him, but he doesn't want to fight a 147-pounder at 160. By his own statement, Canelo should be willing to fight at 154, let alone at 160. You cannot have it both ways, which that's what old media and Canelo Alvarez wants. Stop contradicting yourselves. Old media and Canelo look like a bunch of hypocrites. Last but not least, Canelo want to say he don't want to fight Charlo or he don't want to fight Crawford because everybody gonna say Crawford was too small and discredit him, right? But Canelo chose to fight the little Charlo moving up 2 weight divisions when no one asked him to. No one was demanding Canelo to fight the little Charlo. You can't find me one person that was demanding for Canelo to fight the little Charlo at the moment in time. I'm talking about right now, not 10 years ago. Yeah, people wanted to see that fight 10 years ago because they were in the same division at 154. But not today, since Canelo fights at 168. People want to see Canelo fight fighters at his own weight class. If he's not willing to do a catchweight at 160 against Crawford like he was willing to do against Errol Spence. Therefore, if Canelo Alvarez doesn't want to do that, if he doesn't want to sacrifice a little bit to fight pound for pound number one in the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, while Crawford is going to even sacrifice more. Remember, even if Canelo moves down 1 division, Crawford still have to move up 2 divisions to fight Canelo. However, if Canelo doesn't want to do that, that's fine by me and all of the fans. Let's see Canelo Alvarez fight fighters in his actual weight class, the fighters he's supposed to fight, his actual mandatories, David Morrell and David Benavidez, or the winner of Benavidez versus Andrade. Fight one of them next. How about fight Bivol at 168 in a rematch and watch when David Morrell beats up Canelo like Crawford beat up Errol Spence at 168, or even when Andrade beat up Canelo. All of a sudden, old media and Canelo going to use the excuse when Canelo loses, oh, Canelo wasn't a real 168-pounder. He needs to go down to 160 or 154. That's his real division. This is going to be Canelo Alvarez's next excuse when he loses to David Morrell, Benavidez, Andrade, and Bivol. With the facts being laid out, if Canelo doesn't want to fight Crawford, at a catch weight of 160, then be my guest and go ahead and fight Morrell, the winner of Benavidez versus Andrade or Bivol in a rematch. And watch how everyone is going to give Canelo his credit for doing so if he does so. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below, subscribe below, and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hey, some reporters are now saying you're bigger than Canelo because you're taller. In your opinion, what determines who is bigger? And is height or is it natural weight? Because Mike Tyson fought heavyweight, you know what I'm saying, and he was shorter than.
At which that really don't matter, you know what I mean? The size don't matter, it's about the skills when you get in there. Sometimes you could be smaller and beat up the bigger guy, and then sometimes you could be bigger and beat up the smaller guy. We learned that from Tommy Hearns. We learned that from Lennox Lewis. We learned that from different fighters. So hopefully we'll bring in a fight like this and bring y'all history, you know?
Canelo said everybody from 147 to 154 is bigger than him. Do you agree with that?